Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me in today's presentation. My name is Michel Zibara, and in today's presentation we are going to discuss Chapter 4, Integration of the Project Management Professional, PMP Exam Certification Preparations. Without further ado, let us go to the next slide. The presentation content. In today's presentation we are discussing the below key points: project charter, project management plan, direct and manage project work, monitor and control project work, perform integrated change control, and close project or phase. Project charter. Before discussing what a project charter comprises, we are going to talk a little bit, such as a refreshment, about what we discussed in earlier presentations. You know, during the initiation process group, which is the first process group in the PMP framework, the key activity is the project or developing the project charter, which gets signed off by the sponsor during that first process group of the PMP. So in the project charter, we have a description of what the project title is. In other terms, what is the project? We also have the name of the project manager assigned and he or her authority level on the project. Hand in hand, and depending on every organization, we either have an enclosed business case with the project charter, and the business case answers the question, why is the project being undertaken? Okay. A very important point to note is every organization has a classification of the project charter templates they adopt for their projects. For small projects, for medium projects, and for multi-billion mega projects. They have different project charter templates. What the project charter contains also is the resources pre-assigned on the project. It also contains a list of key stakeholders, high-level requirements, high-level assumptions, and constraints. By now, we all know what's the difference between assumptions and constraints. Assumption is based on an expectation, constraint is based on a fact. Measurable objectives. We all know what an objective is. We have all heard what SMART objective means. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, and this is the acronym, or this is what SMART stands for. It's very important also to be able to explain the difference between the project objective and the goal. The goal is a broader spectrum. A goal is a set of objectives, set of projects objectives. That's a goal. That's the business goal. The goal serves the organization mission. So now it's clear the difference is clear between objectives versus goals. In the project charter, we also have what is called the overall project risks and also the project exit criteria. What is meant by project exit criteria is, let's say, midway through the project, for some reason that project gets terminated. How would I be able to terminate that project? What is the project exit criteria to cancel that project? The next topic we are going to discuss, and which is a key and main activity during the planning, it is the develop project management plan. Project management plan is a holistic plan containing sub-plans. We have management plans such as Document the strategy and approach for managing the project and processes related to the scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communications, risks, procurement, and stakeholder management. I would like to add requirement management, benefit realization plan. I would like to add change management plan, configuration management plan, and many more plans as part of the developed project management plan. In the project management plan, we have the definition of the methods of estimating costs and how we are going to use them. Who will be involved in estimating the costs? How will we make sure all costs are identified and estimated? What historical records, processes, and organizational requirements will need to be used or met? What estimating tools and techniques will we employ? Project life cycle, project development approach, change-driven, plan-driven, predictive versus the life cycle. Milestones is a you can see the milestones. You can have a milestone list in developed project management plan. It can be an extract, or it can be a part of. It can be an extract of the project schedule, because schedule management plan is a sub-plan of the project management plan, and you will have a project schedule as part of the schedule management plan. And the milestone is an activity with zero duration. It mainly describes an achievement. It has no duration, and these milestones are management reviews set and agreed by the key stakeholders and the sponsor and whomever is impacted positively or negatively on the project. PMP is the performance measurement baseline. It's mainly a threshold or a baseline, as the name indicates, or a benchmark set based on forecasts and accurate estimation during the planning, and where during the execution and control and monitoring up to closure, it will be the actual work will be measured against the performance measurement baseline. The performance measurement baseline, in other words, it means the scope baseline, the schedule baseline, and the cost baseline. Another sub-plan as part of the project management plan is the change management plan. And we are going to talk about the change management plan as part of the integrated change control process in the next slide. We also have the configuration management plan, CMP, and we have the final realistic and well-detailed project management plan, which will be signed off by the sponsor and the key stakeholders prior the kickoff meeting during the planning phase. Direct and manage project work. After the planning phase, the next phase or the next process group is the execution process group. In that process group, we have the direction. We have to direct as project managers and manage the project work. What happens at a very high level is, definitely most of you have worked with work authorization systems or permit to work systems. These systems ensure that no simultaneous activities happens at the same time where there is a risk, a safety risk, or a hazard that might occur and cause some injuries and incidents on the project. Okay, and not necessarily injuries or incidents, but it can create a confusion in schedules or overlap of work where at the end of the day the resources or the workforce will lie idle and doing nothing because there is the process is not well streamlined accordingly with a work authorization system. Use the PM plan. In the execution, I use a properly developed, realistic, and well-detailed and signed off, approved, formal project management plan. So I plan the work and I act based on that plan. I perform that plan. I deliver that plan. Use approved changes, corrective actions, and preventive actions and defect repairs. That also happens in the direct and manage project works. As a result of directing and managing project work, new change requests will emerge, deliverables will be produced, work performance data and information will be collected, progress reports, project reports, issue logs. When we say issues, of course, when we do the risk assessment and we plan the risk, we have the risk response planning. So if the risk response planning did not capture the risks, they will be developed into issues, and these issues should be logged and in issue logs. After that, updates to the PM plan, project management plan, will take place. Monitor and control project work. Change requests, corrective actions, preventive actions, and defect repairs all happen in the monitor and control project work. Monitoring and controlling, as I said before, it happens in the initiation, in the planning, in the execution, and in the closing. Integrated change control process. It's very important as part of the integrated change control process to prevent, as project managers, adopting the predictive or the plan-driven approaches to prevent the root cause of the changes, to prevent changes in general, and to know the root causes and try to prevent the root cause of the changes. In Agile, changes are embraced and welcomed. In predictive, in PMP here, and Agile, PMI has an exam which tests you for applying Agile methodologies. That's PMI ACP, Agile Certified Practitioner, Professional. And in PMP, we are going to focus on the plan-driven, predictive, on the waterfall approach. And that is trying to prevent changes on the project. If there is no way to prevent that change, then we need to identify the need for a change. When we say identify the need for the change, when we say identify the need for the change, we are talking about assessing that change against the business case and the project charter, project objectives, and the business goals. That's very important. After that, we need to evaluate the impact of the change within the knowledge area. So let's say I've been requested to add more scope to the project. Okay? I need to determine as a project manager, accordingly with the scope management plan, whether that scope is a scope creep or that scope is a necessity to the project, and having that change approved is a must. But also I need to assess the impact of that change within the knowledge area. How much would that additional scope impact my scope management plan? Okay, what is the impact on the schedule management plan, and what is the impact on the quality? So it's very important to assess against all knowledge areas. Create a change request. After the evaluation, a change request through a formal change request document would be raised to request for the change. Perform integrated change request. What happens in performing? So after the change request is initiated, we apply or we perform the integrated change request, change control. Assess the change, identify options for the change. Let's say the change is, for example, finish the project before schedule by 1 month. Okay, what are the options? So this will be an assessment and impact against the schedule management plan. So identify the options. For instance, will we apply crashing? Will we crash the schedule? Will we fast track the schedule? Can we remove scope and agree with it with the change control board to finish earlier than scheduled by 1 month? So these are different options which we can explore to be able to propose options to our steering committee, or what's called change control board in other terms. And then the part C is get the change approved, rejected or deferred. So here the change control board will either approve, will reject, or will defer. They might approve and provide more budget. They might approve and provide more resources. They might approve to jeopardize a little bit on the quality. So these are all outcomes from that. Let's say the change is approved or rejected or deferred. That should be updated in the change log. So, and the reason for the change being approved or rejected or deferred, that should be documented, and the date. We said, to recap on that point, the update, we have to update the status of the change in the change log. That's very important. After updating the change and documenting it, and let's say it's approved, then we adjust the project management plan and the project documents and the baselines as necessary with that approved change, and we make sure they are all up to date and none of the project management plan and some sub plans are outdated. That also is very important, relevant to the configuration management plan. After that, we have to manage the stakeholders' expectations by communicating the change to the key stakeholders affected by that change. After that, we have to manage the project to the revised project management plan and project documents. Closure, and that's the process group number 5 out of the 5 process groups of the PMP framework. So we have said we have initiation, planning, execution, control and monitoring, and closing. The project is not accomplished when only the technical work of the project is done, but also there is a part to it related to the financial and the procurement closures which should be completed. To be able to determine that the project is closed, we need to make sure that the final confirmation of the work is done accordingly with fulfilling all the requirements set in the project charter and the business case, and gain the final acceptance of the product. That's when the project is set to be accomplished. The project is determined to be done when the product is handed off to the customer and feedback is solicited from that customer. It is determined, the project is determined closed when appropriate indexing and archiving of records, including the final lessons learned, takes place. Also, when we perform the final performance report. I would like to add, and there is a lot more to add to the closure process group of the PMP, and we should be mindful not to forget that there is a benefit realization plan, and the project manager should keep an eye once he delivers his working product to the operations team that there are no defects, there are no problems throughout the operations, and to make sure that the users that are operating that working solution, they are maximizing the utilization of that working solution and generating the maximum value to the organization. That's very important as part of the closure. With that, we have reached our final slide of Chapter 4, Integration of the PMP Preparation course for the exam. I would like to thank you for watching. I would ask you to subscribe to that channel, hit the bell icon so you receive notifications each time I upload a new course or presentation. Do not forget to share that presentation with a friend of yours, which you know that he or she are preparing for that course. That would be very helpful to them. And also your comments are highly appreciated. If you like that presentation, hit the like button, and I hope to see you in the next presentations. Bye for now.